All right, so you've got that itch, right? The entrepreneurial bug. You've got this amazing idea, you see the vision, you're ready to build something from scratch. But, and it's a big but, let's be real for a second, the road to success is, well, paved with failed startups. So the big question we've got to ask is, why? Let's get into it and maybe, just maybe, find a much smarter way to do this. Yeah, that's kind of the elephant in the room, isn't it? I mean, we all see it. These incredible, passionate founders launch with so much hype and energy, and then poof, they're gone. And it's usually not because the idea was terrible or because they didn't work hard enough. Nope, the real killer is often a broken process, right from day one. And really, this is the core of the whole problem. We're almost wired to follow that typical path, right? You get an idea, you lock yourself away, you build it, then you market it and just cross your fingers and hope people show up. But what if that whole sequence is backward? What if we could flip it on its head? There is a smarter path. So let's take a little trip down that all too common road to failure. And hey, no judgment, because a lot of us have been there. It always kicks off in the best way possible, with that lightning bolt moment, that I have a great idea feeling. Oh yeah, this is the best part. It's the honeymoon phase of your startup. You're just daydreaming, sketching out the perfect logo, listing out all these incredible features. You can practically see the smiling faces of your future customers. It feels like you're unstoppable. And then reality bites. Hard. You spend months, maybe even a year, building this thing in a cave. You finally launch it with all this fanfare. Your mom's excited, your friends are excited, and then nothing. Just crickets. You're left wondering, where is everybody? So you panic a little, right? More marketing. We need more ads. But that doesn't work. And suddenly you're trapped in this soul-crushing loop. Tweak the product, spend more on marketing, and still hear crickets. It just drains your bank account and your will to live. So there's actually a name for this whole downward spiral. It's called the supply-first approach. And the name says it all, really. It starts with the supply, with you. Your idea, your invention, your skills. A coder thinks, what cool app can I build? A chef thinks, what new dish can I invent? You create the thing first, and only then do you start desperately looking for people who might want to buy it. Look, let's just call it what it is. This is pure gambling. Starting with just your idea is literally like buying a lottery ticket and hoping your numbers come up. You're betting everything on the pure dumb luck that the thing you thought was cool is also something that a ton of other people are willing to pay for. And spoiler alert, there's a much, much better way to play this game. All right, enough doom and gloom. Let's pivot to that smarter path. Let's talk about how we can move from pure guesswork to a place of knowing. This isn't just a new tactic. It's a complete mindset shift in how you even think about starting a business. Okay, here it is. This is the single most important change you can make. You have to stop thinking like a builder and start thinking like a detective. Your first job isn't to create something out of thin air. No, your first job is to put on your detective hat and go investigate. Find out what a specific group of people is already desperate for. And we've got a framework for this detective work. It's called the startup pyramid. Think about it like building a house. It's just common sense, right? You would never start putting up the drywall before you've poured a rock-solid foundation. It's the same here. The foundation is finding a real, painful problem. After that, and only after that, do you start drawing up the blueprints for the solution. The selling part? That's like putting the for sale sign out front when the house is already built perfectly. Okay, so let's start where it matters most, the foundation. This is the absolute most critical piece of the whole puzzle. This is your detective work. And I promise you, if you nail this part, everything that comes after becomes like 1,000 times easier. So what's this foundation made of? It's just two things. Super simple. First, people. Who exactly are we talking about? Be specific. And second, situation. What's the painful, annoying, frustrating problem they are dealing with right now? And notice what's missing. Your brilliant idea, your solution. It's not even part of the conversation yet. Let's make this real. Think about Ugg boots. Yeah, today they're this massive fashion brand, but that's not how they started. Not even close. They started super, super niche. The people were surfers, specifically surfers in chilly places like Australia and California. The situation? After hours in the cold ocean, their feet were absolutely frozen, raw, and just plain miserable. Uggs weren't a fashion statement. They were the perfect, cozy solution to a very real, very painful problem. And that's how they built an obsessed, loyal fan base from the ground up. Okay, but here's a crucial filter. Just finding a problem isn't enough. For example, I have a messy closet. That's a problem. But am I Googling closet organization services at 2 a.m.? Am I trying to hire someone to fix it? No. You need to find a problem that people have a strong desire to change. They have to be actively trying to solve it already. If they aren't searching for a solution, then you don't really have a business opportunity. So let's say you've done it. You've found a specific group of people with a painful problem they're desperate to solve. Now, and only now, can we start climbing the pyramid. It's time to work on the blueprint, designing the solution. And this solve phase has its own little checklist. Let's stick with an example to make it clear. Let's say our problem is new puppy owners whose adorable little monsters are absolutely destroying their house. Okay, step 1. What's the basic solution? Maybe it's not training the dog, but training the owner. Interesting. Step 2. What's the format? How do we deliver that? Maybe an online course. Step 3. What's the core feature that makes it special? How about a no questions asked 100% money-back guarantee? That builds trust. And finally, step 4. Pricing. See how that flows? It's a logical progression, not just a random brainstorm. Now here's where things get really cool. This process starts to automatically reveal your competition. The second you decide your basic solution is training the owner, bam! You suddenly realize your competitors aren't just other dog trainers. It's also books on puppy training, that TV show with the famous dog whisperer, maybe even those intensive doggy boot camps. You're not just looking at one thing. You see the entire landscape of indirect competitors. Then, a little later, when you nail down your pricing, bam, again. Now you get this super clear picture of your direct competitors, all the other online courses that cost about the same as yours. And this is powerful, because now you can ask the most important question. Okay, how are we different? What's our unique edge? You're not guessing anymore. You're making a strategic choice based on real information. All right, I can hear you thinking it. Okay, this is all very logical, but when do we get to the fun stuff? When do I get to design the cool logo and pick the brand name and build the gorgeous website? That stuff comes dead last. Seriously. Think back to our house analogy. Design is not the foundation. It's not even the walls. It's the paint and the furniture. It's the icing on an already baked cake. It's the visual wrapper for a solution that you have proven people desperately want. And it makes sense, right? The brand you'd build for cold surfers is going to look and feel totally different from one for luxury perfume buyers. And you can only know that because you figured out who your people were first. And just like that, we've arrived at the top of the pyramid, the launch, the sell phase. But here's the magic. Because of all the detective work, all the foundational stuff we did, this part isn't scary. It's not a shot in the dark. In fact, it's the easiest part of the whole process. Why easy? Well, think about it. You're not just screaming into the internet abyss anymore. You know exactly where your people hang out online, so you know which channels to use. You know what their pain points are, so you know what kind of message will get their attention. And the best part, the absolute game changer, is that you can literally take the exact words and phrases they use to describe their problem and use them in your marketing. It stops feeling like a sales pitch and starts feeling like a genuine conversation. So when you boil it all down, what is the startup pyramid? It's a system for taking the risk out of starting a business. It's that simple. It completely flips the old model from, I hope this works, to, I know who needs this. It forces you to find the demand before you even dream of building the supply. It's about building the right thing for the right people right from the very start. Which leaves us with one last big question. And honestly, this is the question that separates the lottery ticket buyers from the blueprint builders. So ask yourself this. Are you building for you? Is this all about your idea, your passion, your brilliant invention? Or are you solving for them? Are you relentlessly, obsessively focused on solving a real, painful problem for a specific group of people?